What's going on, champs and chambits? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video, we are talking about how the Chapter 5 map has officially gotten leaked. And now we will be showcasing the actual map in this video, so if you're someone who doesn't want to see spoilers, which I don't know how I'm really going to avoid that with the thumbnail of the video, you know, maybe I'll blur it out or something along those lines, but if you're someone who doesn't want to see the Chapter 5 map this early, when it's going to be a whole nother month until we actually get it revealed to us normally, click off of this video. But of course, feel free to like it and all that type of stuff first, right? Anyways, with that said, you might be wondering how all of this got leaked and why we're even sitting here to talk about all of it, so let's just go start it all off when it came from a very innocent tweet from, you know, a Fortnite leaker friend of the channel, G-Matrix Games, who just casually tweeted the next Fortnite map might be codenamed Helios. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, whenever it comes to the Fortnite Battle Royale maps, they always use kind of like these Greek god names. I'm not for sure if it's always Greek mythology gods that they're using, but if we pay attention to the previous maps, Chapter 1 was Athena, Chapter 2 was Apollo, I do believe, Chapter 3 was Asteria or Artemis, and then Chapter 4 was the other one, right? You know, they use Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Asteria, all the type of stuff for all the different map names for all the chapters, and they're all related to different gods. However, the Chapter 2 name in particular is actually the sun god being Apollo, which is a little bit of an interesting thing to kind of like focus on with everything else, right? But after this tweet came out, people are looking in the files, you know, they just typed in Helios as the code name, and would you believe it if I mentioned that the entire image was just there in the files, right? Now, this is the actual size, 512 by 512, but this is a very early version of the Chapter 5 map without any actual, like, POI buildings or anything else on there. You can see, like, the road and where it goes to different areas, but this image was just chilling in the files, right? And it's like, what is going on? How does this accidentally slip through the cracks and just end up in the game? We still don't really know how they messed up and did this to this day, but we do know that because of the code name, it was just kind of there, right? And no one would have really batted an eye at it. Personally, for me, I couldn't even view the image because my F model was breaking trying to generate the image because I was using like a custom build that wasn't, you know, perfected or anything else like that. But for other people, they were able just to type in the code name, load the image, and post it to Twitter. And that was just ridiculous to see. And in fact, if we go ahead and go over here to this other image, you can see that right here in Fortnite Games plugins, Fort Water, Content Materials, Water Surface, Helios Textures, they just had the entire map there. For some reason, in their plugin that they use for the water in the game, the map was just visible. And it wasn't just, you know, the normal version of the map or anything else, but it was also like the rendered, like, you know, this is the undiscovered part of the map area, you know, like the gray version, that was there as well. And for some reason, because of it using water, maybe it's like, you know, because of this using like a different water system for the outskirts or in between or something like that, maybe it's in a spot where you're unable to actually do certain things without having that image attached to it. Maybe it was being reused for another thing. But yeah, it was just kind of there. It was visible for everyone to see in the files, and it's something that instantly got leaked all over Twitter. It was absolutely everywhere, and it started to get more and more people going in the files trying to figure out everything going on here, and there was some interesting things people noticed. One of the first things is that it appears that there's going to be a Sakura themed biome in the game, which if there is, you know, that's going to be my drop spot. I'll be landing there every single game I play, but that was one of the things people were noticing, and apparently the Sakura biome would be kind of, you know, towards this area, like the upper right area, but of course things can change because of course this is an early version of the game map, and as you can see here, none of the actual buildings or trees or anything else are rendered on this image. It is just kind of a very, very early in development version, which is kind of funny because back when the original Chapter 2 map got leaked, it was a very, very early in development version. As you can see right here, the left side is the original leak, which people thought was fake back then, right? This is like a new concept to see like a whole entire map leak or whatever. There are even people saying that, you know, oh, this is my concept art, you know, my idea or whatever else. So people were trying to claim a whole entire leak that, you know, people thought was fake at the time as their concept art, and then it ended up becoming the actual map. But as you can see, even in this early version, while it did have more of like the actual buildings and everything else, it was a lot less colorful than what we ended up seeing when it eventually released, right? Because I mean, even if you look over here where like Slurpy Swamp is, you don't see any of like the edges of like the blue glow going on down there or anything like that. It's just very flat, very unfinished, and very simplistic when you're actually looking at it. I mean, even the roads are just super bright on the image, whereas when it officially released, I know the images is really crusty and everything else. You can see a better, slightly better image right there of it. Wait, is this even the right image? Wait, okay, so I was going to pull this up to show the Chapter 2 map, and I just realized this is not the right image at all. Hold on. Alright, so as you can actually see by this image right here, you know, a lot of stuff was definitely changed from this early in development version just to make it a lot more solid. Some of the roads, for example, right here, which kind of, you know, had the giant yellow line or whatever cut off, is actually connected fully and everything else. You have areas like Steamy Stacks having a little bit more of the purple glow and all that type of stuff going on with it, but in terms of everything that kind of just happened as, you know, the map evolved, it wasn't a finalized version back when it got leaked, which makes me think that, especially with this not even having the POIs, this is definitely a very, very early on version. Now, if we pay attention to where there's a lot of, you know, like empty land, we can kind of count out some different areas which may be POIs. Like right here could be one, this could be a second one, this could be a third one, fourth, fifth, sixth could be like over here in this area. See, we have a little bit of roads and then this little block right here. 7, 8, and then, you know, I remember correctly, you know, over in like one of the other areas, like in the snow area, we could have like a 9th biome or something like that, or a 9th POI. But it seems that based on speculation and everything else when it came to this map, we're definitely going to be getting around 8 to 10 POIs that you'll be able to actually go to. By POIs, I mean official named locations. But of course, you know, like we mentioned, especially since we're seeing stuff such as a Sakura biome potentially being used in the area, which most likely is going to have cherry blossoms, it's something that most likely will be added over time as we get closer to the official launch of Chapter 5. However, another thing some people have been interested in, you know, mentioning about here is that this kind of looks like a rearranged version of the Chapter 2 map, Apollo, which is a very interesting little bit of a concern by some people, right? Because as some people have been speculating, they think that this whole entire return to OG Fortnite and then going back to the new chapters and everything else is actually going to be a soft reboot of the storyline because of the whole entire lore that got leaked through audio logs and everything else, and the fact that, you know, this was codenamed Apollo and the new map is codenamed Helios, because if we go to the official Wikipedia page for Helios, it mentions that Helios is the Titan god and personification of the sun. And the reason why that mention of being the personification of the sun is important is because if we scroll down here, you can see that he's often mixed with or represented as the Apollo, another god of sun. So people are getting speculations, you know, a little bit of vibes that the Helios map is actually, you know, like a remade or remastered version of the Chapter 2 map Apollo, and both of them are sun god themed, which really starts adding more and more into the whole entire naming scheme. But it does kind of suck because at the same time it ends the whole entire A naming scheme they've gone for before of Athena, Apollo, Asteria, and, you know, Artemis, all that type of stuff, and now it's Helios. So who knows what their naming scheme is going to be going forwards. Maybe people make some connections to the other god names in the future, kind of be like, actually it could be this god name that starts with an H or something like that. But it definitely is an interesting thing to keep in mind on how it could potentially be a reboot of Chapter 2 map wise, right? Just a rearranged version and everything else. And I would love to see what they're actually going to name everything, because it definitely looks like, you know, the snow area over here is way too mountainous compared to the other map, right? It feels way too like one-sided, where down at the bottom you have a lot of mountains and stuff, but over here on the other side it's just very flat, it looks like, right? You know, like in the middle over here, this definitely looks like a spot where the 0 point would be or whatever else, but it just feels so flat over here based on this early version, whereas over here feels way too high up in the air based on all the different mountains and stuff that typically comes with the snow biome. So I'm curious to see how it changes over time as they prepare to actually release this map to the public, but this is one of the big leaks that was just casually sitting there in the files. It wasn't encrypted or anything like that. It was just there like, hey, what's up? It's me. Hope you enjoy. Peace out. So until next time, hope champs and champions enjoyed today's video. Leave a comment down below what you think about everything. What do you think about the brand new map and the codename Helios? And what are you hoping for going forwards once this map officially releases? And until next time, I'll catch you guys a little bit later. Peace.